we have seen that when we consider two vessels that have an unequal amount of water in them, that is the vessel A and the vessel B. This is A, this is B, have different amounts of water. So under such circumstances, when these vessels are connected with the pipe, water will flow, and we saw that in our previous class, that is the difference in water level was compensated by water flowing from vessel A to vessel B. So the moment when we connect the two vessels, water will flow till the level of the water becomes equal. In a similar manner, when we consider two bodies that are differently charged, that is, we consider that an excess of electron is negatively charged, and we consider a body that has deficit of electron as positively charged. And when we connect them, we will find that the electrons flow from the negatively charged body to the positively charged body, as you can see, the flow of electrons. And conventionally, it has been considered that is the electronic flow is in the opposite direction. So if you recall, what was the convention that was followed? It was said that the negative body is at low potential and the positive body is at high potential. So electrons are flowing from negatively charged body to positively charged body. That is from low to high potential, and conventional current or simply current is flowing from a high potential to low potential. Now, this is a diagram of a tank, water tank, water supply system. So over here, the water station or the water supply station, we have a pump, we have a tank, and a home. This forms a complete circuit for the water supply. Over here, the water comes from the tank and reaches the pump. The pump then forward the water to the tank at our home. You must have always heard your mom or your dad say that the pump has to be switched on in order for the water to reach the tank. So when the pump at your home is switched on, the water reaches the tank, and from this tank the water reaches the taps and other appliances like the water purifier at your home. So this complete circuit for water is how water travels inside. Now similarly, the charges also flow inside a current similar to how water flows. So let us consider a circuit construction. We'll learn how charges flow from one point to another. Now over here, we are going to build a circuit that functions in a way similar to the water circuit. That is, in the water circuit, like water is flowing, in the charge circuit, charges will flow. So we consider certain wires. Now you can see here I have taken wires. These wires are similar to the pipes in the water circuit. Understand, like pipe, this is a wire. So now I connect this wire to a resistor. You can see here a resistor I am connecting. Resistor is the dirt, is like a dirt in your water pipe. It will not allow the water to flow. Likewise, resistors hinders the flow of the current. So it will not allow the current to flow. Now I connect a battery or a cell to the circuit. So this is the battery or a cell. Just like that has a water supply station in case of the water circuit, we have a battery in case of the electric circuit. So now compare the two diagrams. Just like how the water supply system works, like that this electric supply system is working. So resistor is like a dirt and battery is like the water supply tank. Now I'm connecting few more wires and connecting a switch. So this is a switch. This switch is like a pump in the water circuit. There after the water supply we have pump, no, like that here it is like a pump. The switch, when it is on, it allows the current to flow in the circuit. Now I am going to add some more wire. Lastly, we will connect a light bulb. So you can see here a light bulb. This light bulb is like your home, where the water finally reaches and is used to functional and is put into functional uses. So even in this case, the charges or the current reach the bulb and it is put to functional use. So now children, here how we have connected in the previous water supply, here it is similar to the battery. The battery is nothing but the water supply tank, water supply tank. The pump is nothing but the switch. So here we have switch, no? So like that, here in the previous one, pump is there. Then at your home, water is coming. So like that, here the bulb is indicating that the current has flown and it has reached the bulb. So the circuit is similar to the water supply system. And you can see here, I have connected wire and connected resistor, a cell or a battery, and a switch and a bulb. Cell is nothing but a single battery is called a cell. Battery is nothing but the combination of cells. So many combination of cells is called battery. Now when I close the switch, now it is open, you see. When I close the switch, the charges are flowing. Okay, when I close you can see here I have closed the switch, the charges are flowing. So the current is now slow and the bulb is glowing dimly. Okay, so here the voltage may be very less, around 10 to 10 volt or something only is there. Now what I am doing, I am increasing the current voltage. First it was 2 volt, not 10. So now I have increased to 10 volt. So the moment I increase the volt, the bulb started glowing to a greater extent. It is glowing brightly. If I increase the voltage further, more current will flow and the bulb will glow even more brightly. Now let us say we change the value of the resistance. As I told you earlier, resistance is like the dirt in your pipe. It hinders the flow of water. So in this case, the resistance hinders the flow of electron. Now the value of resistance is 10 ohm. I want to increase it to, let's say, around 20 ohms. From 10 ohm, I have increased to 20 ohm. So the moment I increase the resistance, you will find that the current flow decreases. If I further increases the resistance, let's say almost to 30 ohms, you will find that the flow of the current has further decreased and the bulb is growing even more dimly. So this is how a circuit in electric considerations perform. Here we saw the illustration of how the electric circuit is performing under various conditions of voltage and resistance and how the current is flowing accordingly. Now we consider a simple circuit. We have a switch, a cell or a battery which is provided with providing the current, the resistor which was hindering the current, and the bulb. Now if you take a close look at the circuit, one thing must obviously strike, that if you have to draw this particular circuit, it will be quite tedious and tiresome, because if you have to draw the cell like this, the switch like this, the bulb or even the resistor, it will be a quite tedious and tiresome task. So do you think this is how we draw the circuit? Well, the answer is no. This is not how we draw the circuit. In fact, drawing a circuit is quite simple due to the certain symbols and conventions that are used for the objects or the elements in a circuit. Now we are going to find out how we can actually draw a circuit in a simple manner. Cell. So we consider the cell or the battery that was being used. You'll find that when you draw a cell in your circuit, you do not have to draw such in detail. You have to draw only this particular symbol. This symbol actually depicts a cell inside a circuit. you will find that just like the cell that has a positive and a negative end, the same is depicted by the symbol in this manner. The cell in the symbol also has a positive end and a negative end. The positive end is denoted by a longer vertical line and the negative end is denoted by a shorter vertical line. So this is how you have to represent a cell. Like this, so many, if you draw, it becomes a battery. Likewise, a resistor in the circuit diagram with this zigzag symbol. So a resistor, how will you represent? Like this zigzag symbol you have to use. This represents a resistor. Now we learnt about, next is the rheostat. A rheostat is nothing but a variable resistor. This we can change the value of the resistance. And over here, you may be thinking that how difficult it will be to draw a rheostat. Now, if we observe closely, this rheostat has what is to incorporate in a circuit is a sliding contact. So you can see here a sliding contact. This sliding contact is moved in order to change the resistance of this wire. So in order to change the resistance of this wire, we have to, so on sliding the contact, we were able to change the resistance of this wire. So see children, here so many wires are there. This fully, it is completely covered with wire. This we have it in our lab. So now from here, it is this particular sliding contact is moved, means this particular resistance is in connection with these many wires. It means like that. So it gets connected. So these many wires, it is not getting connected. So the meaning is, so many wires when we connect, the current flow will be more because it has to pass through all the wires. So current flow will be less because we have increased the number of wires. Coils of wire we have increased. This is how a rheostat works. So on sliding, we can change the resistance. So this is called variable resistance. It is depicted by the symbol like this. This one, this or this you can show. Likewise, even a switch can be depicted by a symbol. As we saw, this is the picture of a switch that is normally used in a circuit. So a switch can be depicted by either of these two symbols. Now we can use this particular two symbols. No contact between the parts and there is a contact between the part. So no contact means it is off, and when the two terminals of the switch are connected, it becomes a direct contact. The switch is on and it will enable the current to flow. That is, that circuit gets completed. Likewise, we can also depict a switch using the second down symbol. Over here, we find a incomplete circle which is blank in the middle. This indicates that switch is in off position. On the moment we incorporate the dark circle inside it. So I am depicting a dark circle. A dark circle, it indicates that the current is flowing. Now there is a certain instrument which are used in a circuit for different purpose. This is known as ammeter. A picture of an ammeter is shown in the screen. If you notice closely the ammeter, it has certain readings or certain marks on the face of it. These are the readings of the current. So how much current is flowing, this reading will show. So the job of an ammeter is to basically measure the amount of current that is flowing in a particular circuit. So it will measure the amount of current. So this ammeter is pretty useful because we can know how much current is flowing, and the ammeter is usually depicted from a small amount of current to a very large amount of current, and this is the symbol. It can show very small as well as to the large amount. Likewise, we could also measure current. We can also measure voltage. Now, this is the picture of a voltmeter that is used to measure voltage or the difference or the potential difference between any 2 points in a given circuit. As you can see, these markings or readings on the voltmeter, we are able to see the value of voltage. And in the circuit, the voltmeter is depicted by this symbol. We have another instrument that is known as the galvanometer. Now the galvanometer is just like an ammeter, except for the fact that it is not only able to measure very small of amount of current, but the galvanometer, it is measuring the current of in order of microampere. It is very small amount of current. Now the only difference in between the galvanometer and the ammeter is the number. That the number one, large amount of current that can be measured using ammeter, that is in which direction the current is flowing. So if the galvanometer has a deflection of the needle towards right, it means the current is flowing in this direction. Towards the right it is flowing. The galvanometer is deflected towards left, it means the current is flowing in this left direction. So, and the symbol for the galvanometer in the circuit is given by G. Now we see that the current was used up to light bulb. Now the drawing a bulb can be very elaborate process. This elaborate process is simplified by the use of the symbol, which can be used to draw the bulb in a circuit diagram. Also we saw that to connect the various elements in a circuit, we are using wires. Now these wires need not be shown as turned, twisted or curved. Wires can be simply depicted by considering straight line. So this simplified circuit diagram, you will notice that we had earlier seen in a much elaborate way. So you can see that when we incorporate various convention or symbols for the different elements in a circuit, drawing of the entire circuit diagram becomes very simple. Here we have used the convention for the cell, the resistor, the bulb, as well as the switch. So thus we learned that in order to draw a circuit diagram, we need not elaborate picture of the different elements in a circuit. There are certain symbols which follow certain convention, with the help of which we can simply and draw a certain circuit diagram in this manner, as you can see on the screen.